In lesson 6-9, we're going to be learning about measuring angles. Today you won't need a whiteboard. Instead, you're just going to stand up. I have some directions here. You see a compass rose off to the right. You saw that also on your large U.S. map that you've been working on for many weeks. You also see directions here. So you're going to go ahead and stand up. If you're going to hold your iPad, please be careful. I want you to face north. I want you to do a full turn clockwise. Remember, clockwise is the way the clock's hands go around for the minutes and the seconds and the hours. If you do a full turn clockwise, where do you end up again? North. Now I want you to do another full turn counterclockwise. Go ahead, make sure you're standing up and turn counterclockwise. You should be back up to north again. Counterclockwise goes that way. And just a little reminder over here, what are these angles called? If they're less than 90 degrees, they're called acute. Just like you'd say to a baby, oh, so cute. Or a little puppy, oh, the puppy's so cute. Anything less than 90 degrees is acute. All right, let's this time face south. I want you to do a half turn clockwise. Clockwise. Which way are you facing? You moved this way. And you are now facing north. All right, let's try again. Facing south. Do a half turn counterclockwise. Counterclockwise. This time you'd be going this direction and you'd be facing north again. All right, before we move to the next screen, if an angle is larger than 90 degrees, what is it called? Obtuse. We'll need to know those for today's lesson. And lastly, I want you to face north. I want you to do a half turn clockwise. Go ahead and move. Half turn clockwise. Which way are you facing? Should be facing south if a half turn is made. Now face north again. Do a quarter turn, a fourth of a turn counterclockwise. Which way are you facing? Counterclockwise would be west. You'd be facing west. All right, one last movement facing north again. Do 3/4, 3/4, that's another way to say it. 3/4, 3/4 turn counterclockwise, starting with facing north. If you're facing north and do a 3/4, this would be 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. You'd be facing east, going counterclockwise. And if an angle measures exactly 90 degrees, what is it called? It's called a right angle. So just remember those 3 types of angles as we move into today's lesson. We're going to go ahead and move into your math journal. You also will need to have your yellow packet near you. Go ahead and open to page 213. And then I want you to open up your yellow Unit 6 packet to lesson 6-9. On the page that says measuring angles, you're going to see this shape up at the top. Please be very, very careful, but you are going to go ahead and cut out this circle. You'll also notice that you see that there are fold marks. You're going to go ahead and fold it in half once. Keep it folded and fold it in a half again. And then fold it one last time. So you're folding it in half 3 times. In half again, and in half again. What that will give you are some fold marks that will help you with measuring angles. So on page 213, so go ahead, make sure you stop the video, cut out on page 242 of your yellow packet, you will find this angle measurer. Okay? Now, it says on journal page 213, identify each angle as acute, right, straight, or obtuse. And I didn't talk about a straight angle, but a straight angle measures 180 degrees and it's a line. Use your angle measurer to measure the angles on this page. Record your measurement in the table, then circle the right angle below. All right, so mine kind of cuts off, but I just am looking at angle A. Yours is at the bottom of the page. So what we're going to do is to begin by poking a hole in the center of your circular protractor is what we call this, or an angle measurer for now. And then I put point A in the little hole that I just poked. If you look carefully at my picture on the right, you can see that point A is lined up there. And then I line up my left ray on the left-hand side with 0. And I see that my second ray on the right is about 45 degrees. So I'm going to write about 45 degrees. Measure that, move that up a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and write 45 degrees. And we know that this type of angle that's less than 90 degrees is called an acute angle. Let's look now at angle B, which yours is at the bottom of the page. I just moved mine up so that you could see it. I already kind of think in my head what I know what that type of angle looks like. What I do, though, is I take that hole, I line it up with point B so I can see that point in my hole of my angle measure. And I could have moved it a little bit to the left, but go ahead and match up the 0 with the ray. It looks like about 90 degrees to me, so go ahead and write 90 degrees. And we know that an angle that measures 90 degrees is called a right angle. So please write right next to angle B. Again, pause at any point in time. Let's look at angle C. The first thing I realize right away is it's more than 90 degrees. So I could write the type of angle first. It's more than 90 degrees, but less than a straight line. Therefore, it's obtuse. I went ahead and lined up point C in the hole that I poked through my angle measurer. I lined up the ray with 0, and I can see that it falls between 90 degrees and 135 degrees. So I line this up with 0, and it falls right between 135 and 90. Moving on to angle D. D to me looks like a straight line, what we call also a straight angle. So go ahead and write that down. If I again line up that point D in the center where I poke the hole, line up one of the rays with 0, I see it measures exactly 180. So here's where I lined up with 0, and the other ray is at 180. So we'll go ahead and put 180 degrees. Moving on to angle E. Angle E. I can see that it is more than 90 degrees because if it were 90 degrees, it would be here and it goes even further. So we know that this would be an obtuse angle. Go ahead and write obtuse, and let's measure it. Again, you can see where I lined up point E through the hole in the center of my angle measure. I lined up the ray with 0, and I can see that it is about 135, maybe just a little bit more. I'll go ahead and write 135 degrees. So again, as you are working, please pause the video. Look at the picture that I have inserted so that yours looks just like mine. And lastly, angle F. That is an acute. Oh, it's so little, it's cute. Let's go ahead and write acute for the type of angle so we know it has to measure less than 90 degrees. You can see my point if you look real careful, hanging out there. I lined up this ray right here with my 0, and I would say here's 45. So it's probably about halfway between 0 and 45. So maybe call that, to make it easy, let's call that 20. We'll get more accurate as we go along through the next couple of lessons. So about 20 degrees. Now at the bottom, it asks us to circle the right angle. So if we look back, the one that was right is angle B. In our next math lesson, we'll learn how to use a half circle protractor, which was in your Ziploc bag, so you might want to look for that.